If you're a Bible-believing Christian, this conversation with YB is going to remind you that the world is always watching. I mean, YB made it clear he didn't want anything to do with Christianity. What was that single moment that took him from class clown to sold-out Christian? You don't want to miss this. Now, did you grow up in like a Christian home?
Oh, no.
Okay, so run that back.
Yeah.
I mean, how'd you come to Christ? Because, go ahead, I want to tell your story for you.
Yeah. So, grew up in not in a Christian home. My father was very active in the church, and he was the loudest. He clapped the loudest. But when he got home, he lived a completely different life.
Yeah.
So, all of my older siblings, it's 8 of us total. So 4 down the middle, 4 older and then 4 younger.
Wow.
The 4 older wanted nothing to do with God because it was like, if that's what Christianity looks like,
right,
I want no parts. Well, then me coming up, I always knew that God was real, but I made a conscious decision that I didn't want to follow him because I knew that came with a cost. So I was like, I'd just rather ride the fence. So I did that all the way up until about my 11th grade year. And then I started to feel the tug of like, hey, I have more for you. Like you making this decision to ride the fence, like you don't know the launch pad that I have set up for you. So I started to see opportunities, and at this point I'm known as a class clown. Like teachers see me and they sigh, they're like, oh man.
Oh, here you go.
But one teacher, she was like, hey, I hear about you on campus. And I know what they say about you. I believe that there's more. She said, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my name on you, and I want you to write a rap, and I'm going to broadcast it on the school news for Black History. And I'm like, wait, what? So, of course, excited, I get home, I write the song. I had a producer do all of that, and the song plays on the news maybe 48 hours later. And as it's playing on school news, whole school, everybody's looking at the TV, and when the song goes off, it's quiet in the class, and they look at the back of the class,
tension on
and
you.
they like, I know him, I have no idea who is that.
Wow.
And then that's when I opened my eyes, like, man, maybe I can be an encouragement, maybe I can be a light. So from high school to college, that's where God is just like molding. And then of course, January 1st, 2013, I said yes at Passion, and we haven't looked back.
Hey, you and the Holy Spirit.
Yo, yeah.
So run this back real quick. You had said that you didn't want to follow God because you knew it required a lot more.
Yeah.
At the time,
yeah,
right? What did you think that required of you?
So for me, just my nature, I have an obsessive nature. If I'm going to the gym, I'm going 6 times a week. I'm not going to just do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
so,
one rest day.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
Right. So for me, I'm like, if I follow God, I want to be fully committed. Well, I still had a lot of my own desires. I enjoyed being a class clown. I enjoyed not applying myself. Right. So when I said I knew it came with a cost, I knew it was going to cost me stepping up with character. I knew it was going to cost me being, moving with integrity. And, like, I got to respect my teachers now. And that's what I say is, like, I can't say I follow God and then my life is still, like, all out of whack.
So it sounds to me like you're saying, like, you felt like you had to, like, fix yourself before you can go to God.
I wouldn't say fix myself, but I knew if I say, God, I'm going to do X, I got to get in line with what because there's a bar, there's an expectation. So I can't just be, they see me on Wednesday night, but man, Thursday morning, man, here you go again. Yeah. So I knew that I didn't want to get off of that fence at that time. Yeah.
I respect that because it's easy to be like, and I think, especially in the country that we live in, people be like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, because it's just like, your grandma was a Christian, you know what I'm saying? You went to church every once in a while. But there's actually the standard when you're actually living that lifestyle. Yeah. So I respect when you were like, I don't want to commit myself because I know there's a standard.
Yes.
Now, you said it was January 1st.
2013.
So what grade were you in then?
Oh, so that was at the top of my second year of college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 11th grade, a teacher looked at you and said, there's something more to you.
Oh, praise the Lord.
And she opened that door for you to start rapping and kind of, so you weren't doing Christian rap.
No. I was doing regular rap for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started rapping, like freestyling is how I started all of this. From age 8, I mean, pretty much up then. Wow. But at this whole time, I'm just looking at Soulja Boy. I'm looking at all of these artists at that time frame that was just making a lot of noise. And I was making mixtapes and doing all of that stuff, but it was never for God. It was never for the greater purpose. So then when she heard about it, she was just like, you got something to talking about. And it's not what you've been talking about.
I'm telling you, sometimes I know growing up, like I just needed that one person. And even now as an adult, you know, if somebody says, hey, there's more, you're not putting out, like you're doing great, but there's more. And not for the sense of achieving for them to applaud me.
Yeah.
But just they see something in me that God has placed there.
Yeah.
And it's impactful as a child and as an adult.
Yeah.
So you go to Passion.
Yeah.
Now, did you get dragged there? Because you said God was working and he was tugging, but you found Christ at Passion. So that means somebody had to, drag you.
Yeah. So 11th grade year, I'm like, okay, I want to follow God. He loves all of me, but I ain't made the commitment.
I hear you.
So I go to college, and when I get on the college campus, now at this time, you know, we're talking 2010, 2011. Christianity just ain't something like, oh, I'm excited to be a follower.
That's facts.
But when I get on campus, I'm seeing real deal Christians, and they not popular, and they like, oh, these people doing X, and they making fun of them. Yeah. But for me, I'm looking at, man, they still show up the next day, and they still serving pizza, and they still doing X. Right. So I'm like, the class clowns and the people that's doing all that, that's easy.
Right.
But the people that's showing up boldly to keep serving y'all, I'm intrigued with them. So I got closer to the real Christians on campus, and they was like, hey, come to the college ministry. Well, when I got to the college ministry, I met Drew Foster. That's the guy who was just like, hey, college student, you don't really have no money. I'm in a small town. There's nothing to do. So when he called me, this is after maybe 9 months of just following, showing up to college ministry. He said, hey, I'll pay for your food. I'll pay for your travel. I'll pay for your hotel. Just give me a yes that you'll come. I said, go where? And he said, to Passion. And I'm green. I'm like, what's Passion?
I got chills. Like, I'm really like, I got chills throughout my whole body.
He tell me what Passion is, and man, he paid for everything. He kept his word. But when I got there, 60,000 people praising God.
Fire.
60,000.
College.
Oh, yeah. 60,000 college students.
Right. And not your grandma, not your auntie.
Oh, yeah.
People who look and think like you.
Exactly.
Who going through the same thing you're going through.
Exactly. So when they cut the music out in the stadium and it's just voices, I'm in that moment, and I'm like, this can't just be a brand, or this just can't be something that people say, well, I have nothing else to do. I'm going to just, no. This is real.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was an easy decision for me. Easy decision.
Hey, real quick. So you would think YB's story after getting saved would be complete perfection, right? Happily ever after. But after being saved, he found himself hitting rock bottom. Click this video to find out how he got in the funk and how he got himself out of it.